we're here with the final member of the jury, Kat. You have a few hours to process your eviction. How have you been feeling?
It's like bittersweet. Like, yes, it would have been very cool to go into Final Two. At the same time, just like with how my life is panning out right now, I am drained, and I do not think I would have given the best speech or the best answers. I also do think that, like, even though Zoe told me that she was gonna meme in the finale, I do think that she has a better story, in my opinion, to argue for a win. And if I did want to go into the finale, I would have actually used that in my pitch to take me. At the same time, it's kind of just like I can pitch as much as I want. If at the end of the day, it's Sky's decision and she's going to do what was best for her game, and that's what happened, and that's why I said that.
All right, so you won part one, Sky won part two. It came down to part three. Had you had won the final part, who do you feel like you would have taken to the end there?
I think Zoe played a much more under the radar game than Sky, so I probably would have chosen Sky. Not only because I think that it would have been harder to argue for a win against Zoe, I also just think that like it would have been like I think I would have gone with Sky, not because she was more beatable, just because I felt like it would have been, at least in my mind, I had it made up that I was taking Sky just because I knew that Zoe was going to be a much harder win. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know. But I also kind of didn't want to have that. I low key, I did not want to have to make that choice.
All right, so at the final four, you pull out a clutch, veto win, and Jake and Zoe were left on the block, and you ultimately decided to evict Jake. So,
hmm
looking back, do you feel like you stand by this decision?
I feel like looking back, both of them were strong contenders to win. And I would say that Jake had a bit more of a dominant game than Zoe. And he was, at times, it seemed like to me, a bit more social than her, especially when Zoe had stuff going on in her life that made her kind of just like dip in the social aspect. I do think that they had about the same amount of comp wins, though. So I think that Jake was more of a front runner to me. I could have also vouched for Zoe being a front runner after that. And I kind of do wonder why Sky chose to take Zoe when Jake had pretty much said that Zoe would have his vote locked. But it is what it is. I personally think is that like at least for again where I am, this is a tangent anyway. Um I do stand by my decision because at the end of the day, half of it came down to the fact that I did not want a man in the finale. That can sound very sexist. I'm aware of that. I also just think that it would have been great to have a non-man winner for this season, and I did that. So, half of it was strategic, half of it was a personal bias that I wanted to see a non-man win.
Fair enough. Well, it is history in the making for us with, I believe, our first. Well, we've had two girlies in the final before, but
Is this your first transgender winner?
yes, this would be that. So
See?
that is
History.
please. Um, okay, so kind of looking back on your game, do you feel like there's any regrets with how you played? Would you have changed anything, or do you feel like proud of the game that you had played?
I was thinking about that when Jake started mentioning jury management, and I was like, especially with Dissolve walking, I hope he's okay. I hope he's doing better. I really did not think, I really thought I only had Logan's for sure locked vote just because of how close we were. And I know, and even then, that's up in the air, but I just feel like Justin is a bitter juror. That I can tell, unless he got over it, but I doubt it. Will, I barely spoke to, so there was like no connection there. And then I believe it's just Jake then after that, because it's what? Will, Jake, Justin, Logan, and me, because Dissolve walked, right? That's like an actual.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Um, but Yeah. Oh my God. Sorry. What was the question again? I forget. Oh, my game.
Please.
Um,
Yes.
yeah. Um, Overall, I think that I could have had better jury management. And half the time when I did lose, like especially near the end, I was thinking about it. I did throw a good amount of comps because I didn't want to win, just because I was like, I don't feel like I need to, and then that just put me on the block. But I ended up winning the comps that I needed to in that case, since I won, except for that one veto against Will. But he ended up using it on me anyway, so that kind of worked out in my favor. Um, oh my God, wait, have I only been an official nom twice? I think so, or a final nom, I think so. But anyway, um, I do think that I did play a really good under the radar. Like I wouldn't even say under the radar. I just was like Zoe said, I played a very good underdog game, and that's kind of what I always do. And especially when it comes to comps, I know I'm not going to be good at them going into it, so it's just more of like luck based. And especially with the final HOH, I have played in those before. I have done those webs before. If I knew that it was coming, I would have actually taken time to put I would have actually put time into my notes. At the same time, there like it's hard to say because it's like as much as I did like as cool as it would have been, this would have been me making my second finale since I returned from a hiatus. Like I think I played the best game given the circumstances I was going through IRL and the fact that like at the end of the day, I truly do think Sky and Zoe belong in the finale over me. So it is what it is. This is what it comes down to. One could say this was even karma for me evicting Jake because as much as Sky said that we were going to the final two together, something in my brain didn't think that was true. But then again, I also only emphasized her message. Well, put exclamation points next below it, reacted to them, whatever. But yeah, I did what I could given what I had. Could I have done better? Yes. Did I want to do better? That's debatable. That's so bad thinking about it, but it's true.
All right. Good response. Um, so let's take a quick look at your goodbye messages. If you see a text, exit interview channel,
Oh, gee. I was wondering when I would see these.
please. So just open that channel up and just stay there because you shouldn't have read history perms. So
I
I
was gonna
wouldn't
say
want you
I
to
don't
miss
have
anything.
those yet.
Please. Um, so you said you can't see it yet?
Yeah, I don't have. It says I don't have read permission to view the message
Oh, okay,
history.
perfect. All right.
Well, I mean, you have
Well,
such a nice voice. I like it.
please. I'm glad you think so. Um, this first one is from Sky. Any thoughts about Sky's goodbye message?
Are we good?
Sorry, my Discord cut out for some reason.
No, you're good.
Um, listening
Um,
to rapid typing.
that's
Period. Um,
okay. I didn't even consider that. Like, I think, like, I definitely remember when Zoe pulled Sky off the block. I don't remember who went up as a renom, but at the same time, that's the only thing I can think of. So there's a lot of unanswered questions with that.
right. And next, of course, from Zoe.
Oh, Zoe. You see, Zoe and I had the same thought. We both thought she was going. Because, in my opinion, I feel like I see why Jake said that if Zoe makes it to the end, he has her vote. or she has his vote because Zoe played a very under the radar game. And yeah, there were times when she was like I said, like there were times when she was inactive and Jake pulled like I wouldn't say calmed out, but was more social because of that if you compare them. At the same time, Zoe found ways to still remain consistently in good standing with everyone regardless. And it just shows the fact that the only time she was ever even in danger was during the Final Four renom, and that's it. And so it just shows how strong of a game he played. And at this point, like when it comes down to jury voting, I do think that Sky is going to have a very uphill battle with Zoe, and I don't think she either realizes that and she wanted to do this as payback in a good way to Zoe, or yeah, I think she just really did this because she felt like she owed Sky it. I think it's going to be an uphill battle. I know that they both had very good social games, and Sky won a lot. They both had very good social and competitive games. I I just don't. I think I need more of an exclamation. Like this just gives me more questions about Sky. Honestly, it's just interesting. Like it's gonna be hard for Sky to win this. I think she can though. I don't know. I just have questions.
All right, fair enough. You actually answered my next question because I was going to ask you who did you, who are you kind of thinking with a from a jury vote perspective?
Um,
Um,
yeah. To if you want me to elaborate more, I can.
oh yeah, go for it.
Jury perspective wise, if I were to look at all the stats, I actually still have this sheet I made. That was okay. Honestly, the only reason I didn't win that final HOH, backtracking to that, is because I didn't necessarily want to throw it. I poorly timed when I got home because I had to go do something at 5. I thought I had something at 5 and I started the comp at like 4:10 and I was like, "Oh, this will be fine." I started my notes as I saw what the web looked like. I tried to copy and paste it from Excel into Google Sheets, and then I accidentally copied a blank cell, and so I had to go back and redo it. And at that point, it was like 4:30, 4:40, and I was like, "Am I gonna have time to do both of these?" So I kind of just submitted what I had at like 4 whatever. I think it was like 4:55, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go with what I have. I feel confident in about half of it, and this is what always bites me in the butt because I don't take even if I do take in-depth notes, they're not all and I psych myself out. And it is what it is. That was a huge tangent, but long story short, from a jury perspective, I would say that they both had really strong connections the entire time. They're both just very lighthearted people. I that is the most interesting part about this final two is that I genuinely think that this is going to be a really interesting final two because of their personalities. They're both very unserious, and I think that's what got them really far. Like I've seen this multiple times before where it's like if you tend to lean more unserious, the cast not the like I would like yeah, the cast and the house guests or whoever you're playing with are going to tend to vibe with you because they're like, "Oh, I can be myself around you and I can trust you more to show that side of you and we can also have these conversations when necessary." So, they both played a game that works for them and I definitely like um in terms of right now, I really like both of them. I think Zoe just played a bit more of an under the radar and dominant game than Sky. So like I said before, Sky has an uphill battle. And I truly do think that if she really wanted to actually win and could put, this is gonna sound kind of mean, and if she could put her emotions, but I would have said that, but like Zoe kind of sniped me in the speech, which is probably that I don't know if you have any questions about this, but the one thing I will say about Zoe's plea is that I truly think it was reverse psychology because she gave a lot of good reasons for why you shouldn't bring me in phrase of, oh, this is why you should. And that's been sitting with me since I saw it. But anyway, I do think that I think that as of right now, Zoe has a slight edge because of how she maneuvered throughout the game, even with stuff going on in her life, where Sky just played a very unserious game.
All right, that was very descriptive. Thank you. Um, so, if you wanted to elaborate a bit more about how you felt about Zoe's plea, that could be interesting.
Um, from what I remember, Zoe basically said that it would be why you should choose me. And I think the 2 points I remember were I played a very good underdog game, especially with how many times I was being nominated and still found a way to get myself off the block when necessary. And she also said that I would take it more seriously, which she confirmed to me in our one-on-ones, where she pretty much said, if I do get to the end, I think, and we, like, all three of us agree that whoever wins this, it's a win for all of us. So that's why I'm personally like, yeah, it's like, it's such a bittersweet third place to me. At the same time, and I will repeat this until I am dry in the mouth, they both deserve to be in the finale more than I do, just because they played a bit more of a dominant game than me. And they knew how to work around. This cast was very interesting, I will say that. I'm sidetracking. Um, but the reason why I find her speech so interesting is the fact that I view it as more of a reverse psychology way. And if I was reading that from an HOH's perspective and being the I would have honestly looked at it and been like, this is why I shouldn't take this person and why I should take you. Because Zoe made a very good speech for why I should win the game. Looking back on it, and I was like, shit, she got me here. I wasn't even thinking about it like that. And I was also very stressed when I saw that message, and I was like, I don't know how I'm supposed to argue this. And at that point, I was like, she said what I probably would have said in my final speech. Like, Cat played a very good underdog game. They found themselves on the block multiple times. I think I almost tied with Logan for initial noms if I did it. If I didn't, I was very close. And I won the vetoes when it mattered, and I had Will use a veto on me. So that really goes to show, and that's another thing. That's why I think it was pure reverse psychology. I thought it was. I don't think Zoe. I don't know what Zoe was thinking with that. If it was supposed to be reverse psychology and she wanted to get to the end, it was a very smart move on her part because it worked in the way that it was meant to. And I was like, I cannot even say that like I would be an easy win over. Like that was gonna be my speech, but Zoe beat me to it. Like that was gonna be my pitch if I had to, and she beat me to it. I was gonna be like, if you want an easy win over, choose me because Zoe played such a stronger game. And then she came back with 2 points where I was like, shit, those were like the best parts of my game. I don't know what else to do now. And at that point I was like, that's another thing with me. As soon as people catch me, I wave my flag high and mighty, and I'm like, you know what, you got me there. You're so right, bestie. And I've just never been good at campaigning. So, like I said, like whether it was supposed to be reverse psychology or not, Zoe did a very good job of stating why I should win the season. And I do believe that even though Sky said she owed Zoe one, that was a subconscious thought of, oh shit, these are good points for why I won't win against Cat. I need to take someone who I do have an easier win over. So that's like my 2 cents, at least for right now, of it.
All right, very interesting. Well, that's all the questions that I have for you, Kat. But thank you so much for playing on the season. Congratulations on, becoming a final juror. You're among very good company. We've had a lot of great players place third. Um, but yeah, we really enjoyed having you. I hope you enjoyed playing as much as we liked having you. And excited to see how you handle yourself on the jury.
Thank you, I appreciate it. It was a very interesting season. I did like the cast here and there, but I enjoyed it.
Please.
Take me away.
KKC's by Cat.
Bye.